Could Sony's answer to Xbox Game Pass be teaming up with Netflix? Let's talk about this story that's been developing over the last few days. So a lot of this has been via inside reporting and people doing some investigations. And obviously, what we know so far is that Netflix is trying to break into gaming. This is a rumor. I'm going to call this one a rumor, but it certainly seems plausible and likely that this is going to get announced sometime soon. So, rumor has it that Sony and Netflix are going to be teaming up to bring gaming-related offerings to the service. There was a leak a few days ago that was reported on Bloomberg where they talked about this, and someone data mined images that show Sony's Ghost of Tsushima and PlayStation 5 controllers, as well as an image of a shark and a few other things. So this is really, really interesting. And honestly, if this is true and this is the competitive angle that they were working on to compete with Xbox Game Pass. Now, Sony invested a whole lot of money into developing some new tool sets. And if this is what they were working on, it's honestly quite genius. This would be an excellent answer to a service like Xbox Game Pass. And one of those things that I always hope for within the industry. So now we have our solution on Xbox. They've done Xbox Game Pass. They're trying to partner with Samsung televisions, I believe was the latest rumor, and also just generally figure out other ways to get into the living room that don't require a console. Now, if Sony's answer is to partner with Netflix and offer a suite of gaming services that you can just play via Netflix, potentially with some sort of streaming technology, that would not only make sense to partner with somebody as big as Netflix, it makes sense for Netflix and it makes sense for Sony. So here's what I don't want this to be. I even though it would make a ton of money, right? I don't want this to be PlayStation Now, but with Netflix. It would be very successful for Sony. So yes, if they did that, I think it would be really, really successful. But I hope it's more innovative than that on both PlayStation's part and on Sony's part. I feel like that would be doable. I feel like I would understand the strategy there. And obviously that alone would be hugely successful. You're talking about Netflix. Netflix, obviously, I think a ton of people watching right now probably have a Netflix subscription. And the rumor is that this is going to be offered at no additional cost, at least for now. So what I hope it is I hope it's a service like Xbox Game Pass that is offered on Netflix. And if I go a step further, what would be truly amazing is if this was a selection of PlayStation's greatest games and Xbox's greatest games brought to the service on a regular basis. You pick the game that you want to play and you're able to go. I think Netflix would be a great neutral party that would be able to bring this to fruition, and then everybody sort of wins at the end. It kind of nullifies that need to be like loyal to one platform versus the other. The games would sorry, the games would speak for themselves. If you have Ghosts, Gears, Halo, Last of Us, Ratchet and Clank, etc., all those offerings on one service where you're able to just play them and stream them, I think that would be really, really great for consumers. And honestly, I would be really, really excited about this. Now, if this is a Sony exclusive partnership, it's genius. Sony is going to make a ton of money. And I think one of the things Sony has struggled with is, yes, they've seen increased revenue gains, significant increased revenue gains from their PlayStation Now service. I think the consensus is that it still needs a little bit of work. So if they're able to partner with somebody like Netflix and bolster that service or some sort of infrastructure similar to PlayStation Now, but maybe just with their premier games that they bring to Netflix, I think that would be really, really cool. It would be amazing, honestly. And if it's both platforms and you're able to just play the greatest hits on Netflix, I think that would be really, really cool. So a few things. Like I said, this isn't going to cost extra. Game offerings are supposed to happen within the next year. That was according to the Bloomberg article. It'll be its own category on Netflix. So you know how you see the top 10 things like Too Hot to Handle or whatever on Netflix when you're watching it? This one would be its own category. It would be for gaming, and it would go over all of the different games. And if you don't know the story at all, Netflix has hired two heavy hitters from EA and from Facebook. They hired those two to lead this initiative, and regardless of how you feel about their work in the past, they are definitely taking this seriously. And in the Bloomberg article, they said that they've made it no secret they've had job postings that are looking for somebody to develop games for Netflix. The thing that they linked to, I didn't quite see anything about game development and see more about project management than anything. So I missed something there. But anyway, this is really, really interesting. And I would love to hear from you. What kind of service would you like? Because even if it's just PlayStation's greatest hits, there is no denying how significant an announcement like this would be. In the Bloomberg article, they also talk about how the stock rose during this whole thing. And this has been leaked for about a week. And I sort of saw it and I'm like, well, I don't really know what to say about it, because looking at it, I don't know. When Bloomberg reports on it and then we see data mine stuff out of the iPhone app showing off a shark logo, Ghost of Tsushima, artwork of two PlayStation controllers together, it seems like a Sony exclusive partnership. And with the additional partnerships to make products for Netflix between Sony and Netflix, it sort of makes sense. They're in that realm. Microsoft isn't. So if this is exclusives, imagine this. You log on to Netflix and you got Ghosts, you got God of War, you got, what else? Ratchet and Clank, Last of Us 1, Last of Us 2, all these amazing gaming experiences, and you're able to just boot them up and go. I think it would be a huge, huge win for Sony, a huge win for Netflix. And this seems incredibly likely, even though we haven't seen anything from Netflix at this time. Let me know what you think about this story. I saw it and I was like, oh, wow, that's really, really smart. If that is what Sony's doing, it's genius. And you know how Xbox can make xCloud and all these infrastructure things? Sony partnering with somebody like Netflix, both of them sort of pushing the envelope in this way, would be really, really interesting. And it's that whole competitive angle I talk about. When there's competition, Sony now has to innovate in interesting ways. And this is certainly an interesting way to innovate, and exactly what I like to see in the industry. Different types of content offerings that are good for everybody. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. And hey, if you like these sort of videos, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, so when you know when stuff goes live. Memberships are a new thing that YouTube offers. I've had them turned on for a while now. Thank you so much to everybody who has become a member. If you want to become a member, hit that join button. And also check out the merch store if you're interested in that logo, or you like it enough to buy a t-shirt or something. Be sure to check out the merch store. Launched that recently, trying it out. All things YouTube has in the back, and they're like, do you want to try these things? And I'm like, okay, sure. Why not? Click. Yeah, so let me know what you think about it. Yeah, that's all I have for this one. I'm going to catch you for the next one. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. And I will see you soon. We got EA this week. It's going to be a good one. I truly appreciate you. Oh, and I made a mistake that I want to actually call out. I called it out in the description, but I want to go one step further. I was talking about the Valve Steam Deck, and the Digital Foundry video talked about how they compared it to the Xbox Series S, and it is not as powerful as the Series S. And I made a statement as though like, oh, you can have a Series S in your hand. That was a mistake on my part. I appreciate everybody calling me out on that one. So I want to issue a further correction where I was like, yeah, that was wrong. And I like, there's no beating around the bush about it. I made a mistake. I should have been clear in my statement. It sounds like it's closer to the 1S, but yeah. Thank you for calling that out. I'm glad I was able to pin the comment and sort of clarify that part of it. But it's still a super compelling story. I still think Nintendo missed a huge opportunity, and Valve is just going to get all those pre-orders that Nintendo could have had. Anyway, Thank you so much. Let me know what you thought about that most recent story, and I'll catch you for the next one. Bye, everybody.